Welcome to NothingisOB South Texas Golf Podcast, episode number 98. Yes, that's right. We're getting closer and closer to that 100 episode. Tonight's special guest is C2, Casey Carnes, or like Ben told me to specifically say, Casey Carnes. All right. We're going to talk all things golf. We're going to review the first episodes of Nteflix hit Fullswing. All right. Some love it, some hate it. We're going to get into those first two episodes. Let's go ahead and bring Casey out here. But before we bring Casey out here, just a quick reminder right here, right? The views or opinions expressed by the host and guest may or may not be shared by the sponsor supporters. So listen at your own discretion. All right. And in the words of NothingisOB, sorry, not sorry if you are offended with anything we say tonight. Let me bring on my man right here, Casey Carnes.
What's going on?
What's up, man? Casey, thank you so much for being on the show tonight, man. I so appreciate your time.
Yeah, no problem, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Well, dude, I'm going to tell you right now, I see you in the sling right now. You have to let all our viewers and our listeners out there know. I want to know what the other guy looks like.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you the pig didn't look good after we shot it. No, I was, it happened in October. Early October, I was hunting and was going up a bluff to get in spot where we were sitting, and rock kind of gave way, and luckily I had my hand on a limb, and it was my left arm. And ended up tearing two ligaments. I tore my labrum, and then I tore my bicep tendon in my shoulder.
Nice.
Yeah. So I tried to rehab it. I didn't know. I was feeling some discomfort. For me, November, December's major hunting season anyway. So I was like, I'm just going to take it easy. Played late November, still wasn't right. Rehabbed it December, played late December. Actually played with Casey Graham in the Monster Day deal.
I remember seeing your name on there.
And was in a lot of pain that day. But it was all after the ball. So it was like, just get to the ball, and it's going to hurt after, and just make the golf swing and suck it up. So, and we played really well. But just really haven't played. I think I've played 6 rounds in 4 months. So, finally, after Casey and I played, I went and got an MRI, got everything looked at, and found out my shoulder was pretty messed up. I was glad that it's not the rotator cuff. I mean, rotator, I'd be out majority of the year. With this, I'll probably be back by first part of May. The way it's feeling now, I would say I'm going to be back earlier, but we'll see what my doctor and PT guy says whenever we get there. So.
Well, man, I'm glad to hear that you're healing up and you're about to get back on there. I just want to know, is how much does it suck to be like on the sidelines? That's just what I want to know.
Well, I mean, November and December weren't bad because that's usually when I hunt. But when January came and the weather's been nice, and I mean, especially looking at it this week, I mean, it's 80 all week, and I've already been locked up in the house for a week. I'm getting pretty antsy, and but I think, I mean, it can be good to have a rest. So I really haven't had one in 2 years. I've been playing good. I've just kept it going. Yeah, it sucks. I mean, we were talking that you played golf today, and I'm like, it's 84 degrees. And I'm like, yeah, I was at home on my couch, taking work calls and in a sling. So.
Well, good, man. Well, I'm glad to hear you're back on the mend, and we want to see you out there, man. So let's kick things off right here, man. Now that we know what happened with your injury and that you're well on your way, how's everything outside of your injury going? How's your family life going? Because I saw a beautiful picture of your family, and I said, oh, shit, Casey's in trouble. What are you doing? I was like,
no, hey, I'm on my couch going through different stuff, and I had a picture, I think it's been since like 2019 that's up there. So I just found one of my family. They've been really supportive, obviously, through the whole thing. So just put that up. And I mean, I told my wife, I said, it's crazy. Like, you'll post something and it doesn't get anything, or, like a couple of people like it. And then like, this is like 120 likes. And it's like, why? But yeah, no, I mean, it's been, everybody's good. Everybody's healthy. Besides me, I guess. So it's good time, at our house.
Well, good, man. I'm glad to hear that. I was like this. I was like, normally when I'm being nice and sweet or posting something about my wife or kids, it's probably because like I forgot a birthday or I did something or I came home drunk from around like 4 hours later than I was supposed to. And I was like, okay, so it's good to hear everything's good in the Carnes household.
Oh yeah, no, everything's great. We're good. Just like I said, going through my phone, I think I've deleted probably 300 pictures and just some stupid stuff I had on there. So,
well, good, man. Let's go ahead and kick things off right here. Let's get into it. All right.
Yeah.
So I know you saw everything. It's one of the top shows in the country right now, which is a network. One of the top shows in the world right now. In the nation, and
right.
It's Fullswing. It's Nteflix Fullswing. And, we're going to be reviewing episodes 1 and 2. And anybody out there, you're more than welcome to chime in, comment. We're going to we'll post those comments out here. What did you initially think about that first episode?
Man, I thought it was good. I thought it was cool. Kind of to get behind the scenes for everybody that, about what tour golf is like. And I mean, obviously they're just showing the upper echelon type guys, in the first one. So you had JT and Jordan were the two main characters in it. So I thought it was really good. I thought some of it being a golfer is kind of cheesy, like where they say they made a birdie and it shows, that's -1 under the par and they show par and that's what you're supposed to get on the hole. I was like, oh, come on. But, other than that, I mean, I thought it was really good and, shows that those guys are, normal guys, like, like everybody's been making the big, or the big pissant fit about the tampon deal with Tiger and JT this week.
Whoa, you're jumping the gun right there, bro. You're jumping the gun right there, man. All right.
I didn't know. I wasn't in the notes.
Well, hey, I gotta spring some things up on you. I gotta spring some of these things up on you.
I mean, it's just like stuff like that. I mean, JT cusses in it, Brooks cusses in it, and it's like, when they do it on the golf course, everybody just freaks out. And it's like, hey, they're human. Like they're golfers. Like go to a golf course and, it's like, the Four Bros doesn't allow women. I mean, hey, there's a reason. Stuff said.
Hey, okay. You said that, and I'm just going to tell you, it's on the table. It's on the table.
That's fine.
It's an item for discussion. I'm going to tell you that much. All right. It's a new year, right? New year.
Right.
And so
no, it's just one of those things. Like I thought it was really good. I thought it's cool to me how JT and his dad's his teacher. I thought that I mean, some dads and sons, I mean, there's a point, and when you start looking at it from that aspect as a father son and then a coach, teacher, student type deal, it can be a little sketchy, but they seem like they're really good about it. And it seems like his dad's like extremely level-headed. I thought that was pretty cool to see the inside of his dad as his teacher. I kind of wish that it would have showed Spieth with Cameron McCormick a little bit, but it didn't.
Yeah, and one of the best coaches out there, one of the better coaches out there, and I think, like you said, I like that, and I was actually a little disappointed because I almost wanted like the trailer and the intro, man. It really builds you up, right? And
right.
the first episode was called Frenemies, and I think I'm not too sure if they're friends or enemies, but you know what? Because these guys, they're boys. They grew up
right.
in the junior ranks, going and playing against each other and battling it out. And you can give us just a little bit more of an insight because you're not. I mean, you were a former pro, right? You were a former golf professional, and now you are one of the better amateurs, mid-ams. I mean, you play in the top echelon of golf tournaments, considering the majority of the golfers here in town, and so you kind of understand what what it takes to just not be that hack golfer, or to make it to day 2, make it through to the match play and things of that nature. And so were you kind of impressed with, I guess, the swing thoughts and like, what's going on in their mind, or, hey, waiting for a playoff like JT had to do?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's really, for them, it's hard. It's hard to be a professional golfer. I mean, if anybody thinks it's easy, they're, or those guys are just talented and they don't practice and everything. I mean, it's hard. You saw them all in the one thing that I liked was when they were all in the gym together, and Roy was like, we got half the tour in here. I mean, and that was after the round. I'm sure they went before the round to get loose and warm up, and they're doing it after the round, and they're hitting balls. And, so yeah, I mean, it's extremely tough. I mean, we talked before, I played in the US mid-am and just had, the first time my wife ever saw me play golf, she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, this is what I do. Like, she just thought it was like some joke, fun thing. And it's like, no, I come out here for 5 days and I'm busting my ass. So it's a job. I thought it was really good, for the insight, obviously with JT and Jordan, they're getting to fly the corporate planes and, hey, we got a little 45-minute puddle jumper over to the PGA to watch that, or to, for them to get in a practice round the week before. So I thought that was really good. I will say that JT's joggers that he had on, they do not belong in golf. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right.
They're horrible.
All right. So they were talking about this, and man, I'm like, I'm watching these episodes over and over again. I'm like, okay, I'm telling Casey to do his homework. I better do my freaking homework. Right. And I'm listening to these podcasts, and the big comparison, it's a lot of the same producers from the F1 racing that Nteflix did. Right.
Right.
And so that's what they're doing, a lot of comparisons to that. And so, the kind of the kitty, this is a birdie, this is a par, this is a bogey, right? And that's for people that don't understand, And again, I can see that because they're trying to reel people in, right? And they're trying to give people kind of like the basic breakdown of okay, what's the goal, right? What's the goal here? And I think one thing I can really take away from that first episode is I see the generational, like you stated about JT and his dad, right? Well, JT's dad being a teaching professional, and then JT's grandfather, the same thing. And so it's kind of like passed down, from dad to son and to, great or grandson. Right.
Right.
And I think I love to see that. And I see the emotion that JT had, because I think that PGA major championship might mean a little bit more to his family and that family name than maybe, the Open or maybe something else, because hey, his family is from a line of PGA professionals. Right.
No, absolutely. It's I know that there was a big deal made out of the first one he won, and then this one, his granddad had actually passed away, I think last year or the year before, like pretty close. So I know that's why him and his dad were emotional after that, because, of everything that had happened. And it's cool. I thought one of the big things was when they win, everybody thinks that they get to go home, and they have to go do all these press conferences, and they got to go meet with all the sponsors and do all that. And they're there till, it was dark when JT, those guys were still sitting there, you signing autographs. I bet it was probably 9-10 o'clock, by the time he's getting out of there. So, and he'd probably been there, probably been up since 6. So,
and you hear him say that. He goes, "Hey guys, thanks for waiting." And
right.
And I think that's one thing that, like basketball, the fans are able to get really close to the court, right? Like golf, same thing. They're able to be right on you, especially if they hit an errant shot, right? If errant shots hit, they get to be right on top of you. And I think that's one thing that adds like a dimension that maybe other sports don't have. Tennis, hey, you're away from everybody, right?
Right.
Same thing it is in football. Football, the guys are down on the field, right? And I think that's just one thing that you hear, you see, and I love to hear the games. Like, man, you know what? I always learn a different game. I just got done playing, and I just got done in San Diego, and these guys are like, okay, we got a $20 game, and if whoever's up, match play, By the end of that game, then we'll play another game. And then if you're up, if one team wins, then we're playing another set. And I'm just like, okay, just tell me what we're in. Just tell me at the end who on Venmo, who on PayPal and money, food stamps, whatever, right? I was like, just tell me who I'm sending money to. And so I like to hear you see the games, the hammer, right?
Right.
And you always learn all those games, and you like to see what these guys do and what gets them going. And I really enjoyed seeing, having Bones on the bag, one of the most respected golf caddies out there and golf personalities. And it's great to see, his insight. And you're right. You made a great point there about their preparation before and after. So why don't you could you take us through like, what was your like pre-run routine when you were out at Pebble for the amateur tournament, for the mid-am?
Well, for the mid-am, I was at Erin Hills. I got up in the morning, and because of the way everything was, I had an early tee time the first day, was supposed to have a late tee time the second day, which got pushed back. But I get up and I actually have like a compression deal that I do for my legs, hips, and shoulders in the morning. Get up and stretch. At that time, I knew I honestly wasn't in the gym as much as I probably should have been then. But I was just, it was a long season for me, to be honest. And I was just trying to conserve any bit of energy that I had. But I usually get to the golf course. I know some guys are going to laugh about it, and the guys that are watching that know me know that I get to the golf course about 2 hours early. And a lot of that is just to get the nerves out. Because I feel like if I really only need an hour, but I feel like I just can't get the nerves out in an hour. I got to go to the bathroom. I got to get something to drink, and I never want to be rushed. And I'll slow down and on my own pace. But yeah, I do that. Go, hit balls, chip, putt, get ready. And then I go hit balls and chip and pitch after on, things that might not have been good or things that I saw on the golf course. And it may be somebody else was doing something. And I'm like, man, they had this lie and I could be there tomorrow. Or if this pin's here, I'm always thinking ahead. And then I go home, and during the AM, I was in my compression stuff for another 2 hours. And that's just getting blood flow, moving, circulating. And I was probably during the mid-am and then the 4-ball this year, I probably felt better every day that went on. And it was just because, and I felt like the compression and stretching, and I use Rotex motion for a lot of stretching stuff. And
that Rotex motion, man, like I did one, awesome. I did one, man. My hips were hurting afterwards. I'm like, I didn't even know I had little muscles right there or anything.
Right.
And
yeah. And that's what, like, I'm not quite sure, but I think like mid-April, I'll probably end up going up to Tennessee to see Dr. Joe, the guy that invented the Rotex motion, and have him show me some stuff. I should be mobile enough, hopefully by then, so that he can show me some stuff on the road.
You're going to be limber enough. Don't worry.
So I can start working on my flexibility on my left shoulder, and because I've still got, even though I'm going to miss 3 tournaments or 4, depending on when I can come back. I've still got a full schedule for this year. So it's a lot of preparation. I'm up. You're usually up 15 hours a day, which doesn't leave a lot of room for sleep and eat, eating. I try and eat as healthy as I can when I'm on the road. But to me, I'm out there eating so much during the round. I think that's one thing that it's funny. Like, I watch guys in the groups that I play in and whatnot, and I'm eating, a protein bar or whatever, just a snack or whatever. And they're just, they start going downhill, and I feel like I'm getting stronger. But eating and drinking is, during those big tournaments is what it's about. And I'm not talking about beer.
I'm taking notes over here, and I was like, okay, put the stogies and the alcoholic beverages to the side, and
Hey, you catch me you catch me outside of a big event. I'll have plenty of beers with you.
Yeah, you let your hair down, right?
Yeah, I've got no problem drinking.
Well, I think going back to the full swing, I really liked the win side of JT, but I also like the side they showed from Mito in that round, and I like how they get back to him, Mito Perea back, towards the later episodes, and I like how hey, he hits it, he hits it, it slices into the water, right? And he says fuck, he gets mad, and again that shot did not look good at all, and you hear the commentary, why did he pull driver? Why did he do that? Why did he hit that shot? And you don't hear anything, and maybe it's because of the production, the sound, or whatever. But it's like, you know what? Your caddy should be telling you, hey, dude, you're up like 2 shots, or you're up 1 shot. Like,
yeah, I questioned it I honestly questioned that from the minute he pulled driver, because I've been out to Southern Hills, a long time ago. But 18, it's got slopes that go down. And all you got to do, he can hit it left and still make bogey pretty easy.
To get in the playoff. Yeah, to get in the playoff. Yeah.
Yeah, and get in the playoff. But I just don't understand the driver. And you just can see, like, to me, what I liked about that episode is you can see the nerves. Like, you can see the nerves. Like, they're nervous. So when you're going out with your buddies and you're playing a $10 game and you're, shaking, this guy's playing for $2 million over here, in a major and all these accolades. And I was nervous in the mid-am. I'm nervous a lot of rounds that I play that are in competition, and everybody's like, oh, you never look nervous. I just accept it. Like, I've learned to accept that I'm nervous, and hey, hit the best shot that you can. And just deal with it. But if you hit a shot with nerves, it's never going to come out right. It's just, if you don't acknowledge that you're nervous, it's just not going to come out right.
But I love to hear you say that, right? Like, you're regarded in the golf world, and I consider myself in the golf world, right? Like, you're regarded as one of, like, the top dogs here in town. And, your game is super well respected. And I think that's one thing that I love to hear, somebody who's a good golfer that I aspire to be, to have that type of game, right? Like, you've accepted it. You're not running from it. You're not hiding from it. And you know what? But isn't that why we do it too, though, right? You want that nervousness. You want those feels. You want that roller coaster, right? You want the highs and you want the lows, right?
Yeah. I'll tell you a quick story. So when I was in the mid-am, I knew I needed to make birdie on 18 to get in to match play, like guaranteed. I didn't have to go into a playoff and do all that. So I went, I absolutely smoked my drive, and it's so wet out there. Actually the superintendent, the day before that we played, he said, there's no fucking way we're playing. Sent the USGA that text, and like somebody actually posted it. He's like, there's no way we're playing today because there's so much water. But I ripped my drive down there, and I had 222 front edge, and it was like 245 back. And I am literally so nervous. I was glad I was hitting third, but I was so nervous inside, and it was just hard for me to get over the ball. And so I got up there, and I said, if I absolutely smoke this, there's a possibility I'll get to the front of the green. I actually flew it like 226, and it ran to the back of the green, and two putted and got out of there. But I was so nervous hitting that golf shot, and it came out right. And I feel like it came out right because I was able to, just go ahead and control my nerves. And they don't always come out right. I've hit plenty of bad shots, and it's, but most of the time it's because I'm not committed to what I'm doing. And that's like one of the things in the full swing, like with Jordan and JT, to me, I don't understand how Jordan Spieth can be positive, the way he's been hitting the driver for the last couple of years. But they're super positive. Like, they think they're going to win. They
think they can make the shots. They think they can make it.
Yeah. They want to beat each other. They want to beat everybody. They think they're going to go out there and win, which I think is just really cool.
And I think as a teacher and a coach, it's like shooting a free throw. It's that mentality. Like if you think, or that, over a putt, right? You're sending over a 3-foot putt. if you have that mindset where you think it's going to go in, you know what? Maybe 9 times out of 10 that ball drops.
Right.
You know, and it's a lot of belief and self-belief, and like you stated, like these guys have self-belief in themselves, and I like that, and I like that, and you like to see, I like to see these guys, that what goes through their mind to get championship golf, and I love to see the playoffs, and I love to see the mindset, and I did, and I like to see Mito fail. I did. I like to see that because he showed he was human. And
right.
you know what? Like you said, yeah, he's playing for $2 million, but he's also playing as a rookie to keep his freaking tour card at that time.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And so it's a lot of highs and lows. And I think that was a really good episode to kind of reel some people in and kind of suck them in. And I think just maybe some of the negatives is where are they at in regards to like chronological order, right? You know, they're here, they're there.
Yeah, they're kind of like splattered in there. Like, actually, I rewatched them this afternoon after my son got home, and he actually sat down and watched both the episodes with me, and was asking questions and you know, about this and that, and he was like, "Well, weren't they just here, and weren't they just there?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so, because he was watching both episodes, and they're like, "Well, they just showed this here," and so yeah, they do kind of jump around, but I mean, they've got the same. To me, they've got the same 2 guys in each one, and so it works. I mean, I think it's good and bad, but overall, I think it's a good documentary to show, you know, the somewhat of the life of a PGA Tour player, but how they're thinking and what their thought process is, and you know, they do go to the gym and they do practice, and you know, they do get frustrated. I mean, JT, you saw JT. I mean, in episode 2, Brooks is, you know, just, I mean, he's a whiny little, you know what, but he's frustrated.
I'll say it. He's a whiny little bitch.
It's bad.
Yeah. And in episode 2, it's Win or Go Home, titled Win or Go Home.
Right.
I love you. It's like a tale. And I like how they did that. It's kind of like you know, the tale of 2 golfers, right? The tale of 2 sides. You have Scotty Scheffler, who hadn't won on the tour at that time, you know, the start of it.
Right.
A very spiritual guy, a very happy-go-lucky guy, you know, a God-fearing man. And then you have Brooks Koepka, who's at the time was known as just a cold-blooded killer, right? Like just like this dude. Hey, he beat Tiger, you know, at there in St. Louis, right? I mean, he beat Tiger at the championship, and
right.
And you know, the I don't know if it's the PGA Championship or the US. I think it was a PGA Championship, right? In 18.
Yeah, it was one. Yeah, either PGA or
I think it was the PGA Championship.
Yeah,
and there in St. Louis, and he, you know, it's like he kind of ruined the party, right? He ruined the party for Tiger, right? As Tiger was surging,
right.
And you know, just a cold-blooded killer in majors, right? Like, hey, that's all he does is win majors, and he closes it out, and he has no fear. And then you see him, like, you know, you see him thinking of himself as a failure, and you know, at his vulnerability, and you know what, like, man, we're thinking of this guy as being a top gun, a killer, but now you know what, he's doubting himself. He's got a lot of self-doubt, and maybe that played a part in him going over to live. He said, "Let me take this money because I don't have my game anymore," and it was really interesting because it got me. Like, I'm like, dude, this guy, cold-blooded Brooks, like, he doesn't have self-belief.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I've got, you know, confidence is huge. I mean, it plays such a big part in golf. Just because, I mean, if you're not confident over the ball, more than likely, you know, your muscles are going to tense up. You know, things are going to happen. I mean, this summer I probably putted better than I have in I don't know how long. Andy, I'd have told you I was never going to 3-putt. Like, it just wasn't going to happen. And when I did, it was some fluke deal, and I shrugged it off. But I was confident. I knew what I was doing. But I was putting in the work. And to me, like, episode 2, like, you see Brooks winning. To me, you see him, like, when he came out on tour, he's a strong, you know, he's probably looks like me, to be honest. Skinny-ish, you know, kind of built.
Hold on. Who said you were skinny?
Well, ish. You know, just like body type. But then he goes to muscle bound.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just extremely huge, which he had 2 suspensions in there, which the PGA Tour will never come out and actually say. But
they protect their players. They do.
And I wish they wouldn't. I mean, I wish you'd just say, hey, he's suspended for 6 months because of this. Instead of Brooks going, oh, I got a wrist injury because I was taking too much of whatever. But then like you see him towards the end and he's slimmed back down, doesn't look as ripped. Like, when he was going to jump in the pool, I'm like, man, I mean, this ain't the same guy that we're watching on TV.
He's a skinny dude.
But, like when he was winning, it was funny because he was doing all these interviews and they're like, well, because if you remember, he was going to PGA Tour events, non-majors, and was like, oh, this is just a warm-up. I really don't care. I just have to play it. Like he didn't care. And they were like, well, what do you do when you go home? And he's like, nothing. Like, I don't touch your club. The clubs go in the closet. I don't touch them. No offense to anybody. If you don't touch your clubs, you're not going to play good. And I think he just got in this routine that, he was the almighty. And then you start hitting some bad shots and stuff sink in and you can't turn it around. And because you're not putting in the work. I mean, for him to go and, he was hitting like an 8-footer and when he was putting and he missed it a cup left from 8 feet.
Those guys don't miss that by that much.
No. So, I mean, there's something going on psychologically, but to me, he wasn't practicing. You can get in a groove and, and hey, his was a 2-year groove. If you look at Jordan Spieth, when he came out in 15, 16, 17, he was, winning majors and, doing all that, Bryson DeChambeau. I mean, guys get in streaks, and I mean, to me, the reason I call him a whiny bitch is because, I'm not, I'm a failure, I'm this and that and blah, blah, blah. And because you missed a cut, because you're not working at it hard enough. I mean, it's that's the way I saw the whole thing, and then he takes the money and then now we've got, now there's stuff coming out that, oh, he's healthy and he wants to come back to the PGA
Yep.
Tour. What is he going to do? What happens with the money that, the $100 million that they gave him?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
no. And it's great. And you see that. And that does make a lot of sense, like, hey, he had a wrist injury and you know what? He's slimmed down, he's trimmed down. And you know what? These guys have to stay hot and have to capitalize as much as they get on these hot streaks, because that's what Scotty had in this episode, right? It showed like how great of a year he had last year. I mean, he barely lost the Tour Championship when Rory came back, right? Like, right. And that could have been like his 5th win right there. And that just goes to show you that Brooks crumbled in the Waste Management and the Phoenix Open, right?
Right.
He crumbled. Scotty won, and you know what? It was a tale of 2 different stories. That Scotty went on to continually have like a great year, and Brooks's year went further and further down.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Brooks did win on the Live. I mean, yeah. Hey, I mean, they've got good players. I mean, DJ.
Sure,
if DJ came back and played on the PGA Tour, he'd still, win a couple times, but. I mean, hey, if somebody gave me $150 million to go play somewhere else, I'd be gone. That's my point on Live, and I think there's legacy and guys that want to play for money, and I got nothing wrong with it.
No, and that's what I'm saying, because ultimately, at the end of the day, what's important to you, like you and yours, right? Like you have to you want to provide for your family and for you, and give them things that either you had or you didn't have, right, growing up. Right. And I look at that, and it's kind of like calling the kettle calling the pot black, right, or the pot calling the kettle black, right, whatever, because they'll take the money in the DP tour, right? They'll take the Saudi money there,
right?
They'll take that money for the LPGA. They'll do that. They'll make those connections, but they'll take Saudi money when it's appropriate for them, but they're not going to, they don't like this Saudi money that is funding this league. And I'm like, you can't say that. If that's the case, then don't take any Middle Eastern money.
I think that's why the DP World Tour, at first they were like, oh yeah, we're with the PGA Tour. We're strong. And then I think the Saudis came in and said, okay, we're pulling all our funding. And they were like, whoa, yeah, y'all come back and play. We're good. We're good. Time out. That's like, because I mean, from what I've heard, it's like 60% Saudi and Dubai give 60% to the DP World Tour.
Funding's everything.
And they're not even playing for the purses that they are on the PGA Tour. So, I mean, not even close. So, I mean, if they were to take 60% away, that tour would be gone. I mean, it would be a corn ferry.
Well, it's already hanging on by a thread. Right. And it's just, I mean, it was the Euro Tour, now it's the DP Tour. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you honestly, when they said it was the DP Tour, I thought it was like I thought Dude Perfect came in there and took it over, and I was like, man, that's badass. These guys from Dallas took. I thought it was like a lower tier tour, and then I'm like, hold on, there's some big names here. I was like, these aren't just like some Joe Schmoes, and I'm like, oh, it's not the Dude Perfect tour. I was like, man, I said, I'm a fucking idiot.
No,
I'm an idiot.
It's oil. And guess who's got it? Dubai and Saudi.
Yeah, there it is, man.
Come on now.
There it is. And back to Fullswing episode 2, Win or Go Home. I love one of the highlights I took from it was Scotty going into the last day, Sunday, at the Masters. And his Ted Scott, his caddy, who's a very spiritual guy, he tells him, hey, you know what, you just control what you can control, and you know what, God is in control of everything else. As long as you accept that God's in control of everything else, hey, you're gonna be fine. You got it, kid. And I think like sometimes being an athlete, playing a lot of sports like you did, and having a son, there's a lot of different kids out there. Every kid wants to kind of be coached differently, right? And nowadays, right? Like as a coach, I can't be like a hard ass with everybody. I can be fair with everybody, but I can't coach every kid the same. It's a different age, right? It's a different type of kid.
Right.
And I think as a caddy for Scotty Scheffler, I think that does a lot. That just somebody having confidence in you and being on the same page with you spiritually and believing in the same things you do. And I think that helped them to really, because a lot of times I think these caddies do help them. They do help them. They are a team when they're out there on the course and they're attacking together.
No, absolutely. I mean, the caddies, a caddy can make or break what's going on. And I think a lot of the guys, like now, unfortunately, a lot of, the guys are going to friends and, kind of having buddies that have played the game, that know how to hit the shots, but it's a friend. It's somebody there. Scotty Scheffler got, I think, really lucky when Bubba and Ted Scott, called it quits. And, Scotty was like, oh yeah, absolutely. Done. Cause who else better to walk somebody around Augusta? Bubba's won twice, he knows the golf course, knows what's going on. But yeah, having a caddy that can tell you something at the right moment, or, that's in the same, mindset, beliefs, that's probably what Scotty needed to hear then. And if you would have had another caddy that wasn't as, spiritual and everything, he may not have come out, and who knows the outcome. But yeah, I thought, Scotty's such a cool guy. Obviously he's from Texas and a lot of people know him, and have been around him. But to me, he's just one of those guys, like, he's like, man, I just want to, I'm playing golf. Like, this is the coolest thing in the world. Whatever happens. If I win, I win. And, he goes out there, and I tell you what, watching his golf swing, I just don't understand it.
Dude, he slips. He slips on every swing.
His right foot comes out from under him, and sometimes it's in front of his left foot. And I'm like, and it's, 320 or dead on the flag. And I'm going, how in the,
swinger swing, right? Swing, right?
No. Yeah. Play golf.
And I think that's one of the things that Brooks even said in episode 2. He said, man, like Scotty Scheffler, like, what are his swing thoughts? He's not thinking about anything. He's just going out there and doing it, and I'm trying to fight. He's fighting himself.
Right.
And it's perfectly like, you can see that in Scotty's game. And that could be a little intimidating too, that, hey, this guy's got no swing thoughts, no cares in the world. And he's just being like one of my favorite athletes, Kobe Bryant, said, like, he's just being present in the moment, not thinking about the winning or the losing or what happened or what's going to happen, and just being present. And I think that's what some of these athletes, and I thought that's something that we could see on TV and or we can see on the screen, that these guys, like the best ones are the ones that can just be the most present at that exact time.
Yeah. I mean, again, I mean, I think Scotty has swing thoughts. He has, like, I thought that part when Brooks was talking about that, like, oh, he doesn't have a swing thought in the world. I mean, that's crap. I mean, even when I'm playing at my best, and I mean, it may not be PGA Tour level, but when I'm playing at my best, I still have a thought that's going through my head or something that's going on. To me, when you get in those spots where all you're doing is thinking on the golf course and thinking in a bad way, like, okay, I don't know what's going on with my swing. I don't know this. I don't know that. It's because you haven't put in the time on the range. You haven't put in the time practicing and knowing what your miss is or what's your go-to shot, and just get it around and then go work on it on the range and figure it out. Because I mean, you saw JT's, top 10 in the world, and he's talking about, oh, I fucking hate that with my hands and I don't like this. And I mean, they're constantly working on it. So Brooks's deal, it's not true. They're always thinking about something. Just on the golf course, he's thinking about, okay, I want to hit it here. I know Ted Scott is a big, like one of the major things with him was he uses Decade. And that's where I think he helped Scotty out a bunch. It's a deal by Scott Fawcett. I'm not trying to like throw anything in there. Just
no, that's what I'm saying. Like explain to our viewers and listeners at home, like what is Decade? If you could just break it down for us real quick.
Decade's not quick. But basically it's just where to aim. It gives you a little bit of what's hit off the tee, but it's where to aim on a certain pin location, hole location. And it's by the yardage. So if you're 160 yards out, it would say, and the pin's on the left side, it would say aim eight yards left of the fringe of the green. And so if the pin's 3 on, you're basically aiming 15 feet right of the hole. So it's just playing a little bit more conservative, but it's hitting it, but it's giving you a bigger miss is what it's doing. That's it in a nutshell. I actually went in November when I wasn't playing or anything. I went to a deal and I honestly I use it a lot unknowingly. But in the rounds that I have played, I used it and I was like, wow, like I think this could be really good for me. Because I've noticed I get in situations, and I did 2 years ago at the state mid-am where I started just firing at pins. And if I wouldn't have done that, I probably would have won. Like I just got real stupid. But Decade's a good system. And I know that Ted Scott uses it. And apparently that's a lot of what, Scotty was just, when he first came out on tour, the reason he hadn't won was he was just firing at everything, thought he had to go at every pin and make every, and his misses were very penalizing, where with Decade, your misses aren't as penalizing if you're using the system. And you have, to me, your putts are actually, like, I actually felt like my proximity to the hole was closer somehow. So,
man, I need to read up on this Decade right here. I'm going to write this down because, again, as being a coach, I like to steal from other good coaches and from other great athletes. And so, hey,
it's pretty cool system.
Decade. All right. Hey, again, and if I can get it for free out there, hey, I'm going to YouTube it right here.
I don't know if it's free, but you
know what?
Get some. I'm sure on YouTube there's some videos that you can.
Well, you know what? Somebody has just prescribed to it, and or subscribe to it, and just give me your code, give me your login. So or use it like a Netflix account, right?
Right.
Well, and I think as they into, I like how it was a good buildup. It showed some good personalities, and I think it kind of sucked some of the viewers in, and I compare. Check, my buddy, check your forehead. Somebody else is going to say it. Check the camera. Your forehead's dirty. It's okay. It's Ash Wednesday. I'm Catholic, come on. And all right. So I knew I was going to have to talk about this, right? I knew somebody was going to say some stupid shit. All right. So, okay. Off subject here. So I taught at one school, and I left on my lunch break one time to go get my ashes, right? Because I've grown up as a hardcore Catholic, from Corpus Christi. My grandmother, it was just really us two always going to mass every Sunday. We had like 3 different statues of the Virgin Mary all over the place. We had an altar in my house. I mean, it's just very religious family. Well, the principal at the time goes, "What do you have on your face, or what do you have on your forehead?" And I said, "Oh, it's ashes. Today's Ash Wednesday. I'm Catholic." He goes, "That's a man-made religion. You know that, right?" And I'm just like, well, I mean, there's a lot of things that are man-made. I mean, like, okay, you know what? Do you know what the symbolism of it is? And I said, I'm probably one of the worst Catholics out there, even though I teach at a Catholic. So I'm probably one of the worst Catholics. And I'm like, I just know it means I'm a sinner, and I'm letting everybody know that I'm a sinner, and I'm, about to make a sacrifice, for, Jesus, for he gave up, he sacrificed himself for us. And he gave me a hard time about it. And that's when I was just like, I didn't come back to teach at that school the next year. Right.
Right.
And I just like, hey, you know what? There's all walks of life, but I know, like, today, my daughter, she comes home from school. She's like, "Dad, they were making fun of me every day. They were freaking making fun of me all day because they said I had eyelashes on my forehead. I had dirt on here or whatever." And then she does something to where she actually has her eyelashes like on her. She likes to wear fake eyelashes. I don't know why she does it, but she had her eyelashes like on her hand. And I'm like, okay, you're gonna complain about having this ashes on your head, but you're walking around here with these huge freaking fake eyelashes that are constantly falling all over the place, right? And she's like, well, point taken. Okay, point taken there.
Right.
And so I knew somebody was gonna mark that, man, this stupid idiot Franco. I mean, he's my boy, he's my fraternity brother. But I knew I had to address it. I knew I was gonna have to address it tonight. And I came home after a round of golf and picking up my daughter up from practice. My wife, made some fish for us, right? Because we can't eat meat today. Right. And my daughter goes over there and she's like, there's like 3 pieces of fish. She grabs 2 of them and she goes, "Hey, Dad, I saved you one." She drops a piece of fish on the floor and my dog eats it. And I'm just like, I'm left with fries and hush puppies. And I'm like, dude, like, why do you hate your father?
Right.
And so I'm just like, it's a great day. It's always, I just want to let everybody know. I was like, you know what? I can't wear a hat. I can't hide it. Today's the day. I can't hide it. But I did make a post on my Facebook. I said, watch, you're going to see all these stupid people making posts and selfies on it. And I said, you're not going to see me do that crap. Like, as soon as I got to church this morning, I saw a couple, whatever. They want everybody to know they got their ashes or they're a better Catholic than I am. And I said, well, good for y'all, good for y'all.
Right.
Post that crap, and hey, I'm here. All right, back to the show. I had to address it. Back to the show.
I got you.
And back to the show. And so, in regards to this Fullswing, I think it kind of really sucked everybody in, and it keeps everybody at bay. Like, they want to know what happens next. They want to know. They want to know. They want to know more. And I think as they get in to the next episodes, I think they give us just a little bit and a little bit more. And I'm very happy with how it went. I still need a little bit more juice. I still need a little bit more juice. And I'm always curious on these directors and these producers, do they even play golf? Do they even play golf? Are they golfers? Because one of the things that that HBO had the 2-part Tiger series, right?
Right.
And I heard them on a podcast, and those guys said they didn't even play golf.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that.
Right. Yeah, how do you make a golf movie and not play golf? They're probably the ones that were looking it up. Hey, what's a par? Hey, what's a birdie? We might need to tell everybody this.
Let's put that in there.
Yeah.
And I just think, and like, I always kind of look at that sometimes, and that's why I thought, hey, to have Casey on, who's been in some big games, been in some big moments, who's been on this side of the booth, who's been on this side in the golf industry, and as we talk about that, let's take a quick break here before we get into some of the things that are going on in the local golf industry here in town. All right, guys. I want to thank our presenting sponsor here. It is 4Bros. Jeremiah, Sergio, Scott, Charlie, Chris. I want to thank all of the board members for the 4Bros Tour. Please check us out. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Snapchat. We have many outings. We have at least 1 or 2 outings a month. Next big outing is going to be St. Patty Open out at Fort Sam. We had Brandon Ellis on the Against the Grain podcast last night, and he has a great deal going on for us on March 11th. That is Saturday. That is the St. Patty Open. $45. That is burger, fries, range balls, and there will be beers. There will be a bucket of beers, ice sets of beers at the turn for the four bros. Right now, we're up to 50 guys. There's payouts for A flight, B flight, C flight, everything. There's king of the par threes. That is a rolling pot for any of those flights right there. Proximity to the holes, CTPs, net, gross skins. There's too many games to announce. Everybody is eligible to be in these pots. Check out Four Bros. Never golf alone again. Thank you so much, guys, for your support. All right, guys, back to our show right here. Now, Casey, I know you play in a really good golf league, which is the FGA, the Friday Golfers Association, right? The Friday
right.
Golf. And man, like I'm telling you, I've been so interested because there's some good ballers, and it seems like there's some really good guys that play in these Friday groups. And I like it because they play a little bit like at noon, like at 11. They play a little bit not so early until where, hey, it's a Friday day. You can maybe take a half day off, and they play some quality courses, right?
Right.
And I know you like to play with these guys because in regards to like handicaps and anything like that. So why don't you tell us just a little bit about some of those guys and some of those games that y'all play out there?
Yeah. So, I mean, I play, everybody thinks I play every day, which I don't. I might hit balls at David Ogren's range when I'm able to play. But I play in the Friday group. I mean, the handicap system for some reason, and it's really only that group. Like, I don't understand it. But if you shoot, a couple under your handicap, you're going to win. And it's not like for me, I mean, I'm a +4 or 5 in that group. I can't shoot 6. I mean, I can, but it's everything's got to be, I can't shoot 6 under my handicap. I mean, it's just not going to happen. And so for some reason, that group, you shoot a couple under, you win. It's a great group of guys. We play, better golf courses. We play, Landa, Valor Creek,
Quarry.
The Quarry, and really, I mean, it's a good group of guys, and we play the better golf courses in San Antonio. So for me, I mean, when I'm getting ready for a tournament, I know that I can go play in that group, and I'm not going to go play, somewhere that's not, the greens aren't good or fairways aren't good so I play in that group, and then I'll play a little bit in our SGA, which is the same guys, essentially. It's kind of the old Northcliffe MGA that broke off right before Northcliffe closed. So I'll play in that group, but I don't get to play in that group a whole lot just because it's on Saturdays, and I'm either playing or in a bigger event, or I've got, family stuff. So
now I think it's I'm not too sure if that was the group I remember you playing in or Statiga. I don't know if you played Statiga.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I think it must've been that group. I remember that day I was out there, you played, and I remember looking at the Golf Genius, because I think they used the Golf Genius, right? If I'm not mistaken. And I remember going out there, and I remember seeing that, and I'm like, dude, I see like a huge red number by your name. And I think it was like a 6 under. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be in the money at all today, And I was like, and I think that was like my first, that was just me first learning of you. Right. And it was, man, It was several years back. And I was like, who the hell is Casey? I was like, who is Casey Carnes? And then everyone's like, oh, that's him right there. And I'm like, I said, damn. I was like, man, this guy is freaking good. And they're like, oh yeah, he's a stud. And I'm like, yeah, it's freaking Golf Genius. I was like, there ain't no one else has red numbers over here. And that's the gross. And I know you went pretty low, and I know you cashed out that day. And for a player of your caliber that has the give strokes back on the course, what is it that you're looking for in a game or looking for in a group that kind of, makes you want to go out there and be like, that gives you a chance, as opposed to playing with a lot of guys that have these high handicaps and that they get more pops or, anything like that?
Well, I mean, like the FGA, most of the time it's flighted. So I'm not actually, Jeff Young and I were talking about it today, but he had looked up a stat, like we're a 20 handicapper. What's his likability of shooting 3 under his handicap versus, a 10, a 0, and then a plus. It's just harder for us to shoot under par. So I'm just but I'm looking for somewhere where I feel like I can at least win my money back, for golf and whatnot. But I'm looking for a group that has fun, that, it's a good time. It's not a bunch of, tight wads. It's not a bunch of, I like getting in a couple money games, and we've got a group that we'll play in the FGA, and we'll play, we play hammer or, some team game or whatever. And I like doing that. I like just hanging out with the guys. And honestly, I'm probably one of the ones I'm okay. I don't want to do it every time, but I'll play with guys that are, 15, 18 handicaps too. But yeah, it's just a different, mindset. I kind of feel like, the plus handicaps, if you look at the handicapping system, we all go like, for some reason, the way Jen does it, it goes like, if you're a 5 and I'm a +5, you might go to a 7 and I might go to a +6. Like, we're going opposite directions, which makes no sense. So I know in the FGA, we've kind of amended that, where if you go, like, if a 5 goes up to a 7, I go from a 5 to a 3. So we're all moving the same way. And they've done that we've got a couple plus handicaps in there, and I know we're a very rare breed, but, but I just don't have, I could go, everybody's wanting me to go play, go play out at Oak Hills and with these guys. And I don't have, I don't play enough to go and, pay $900 a month, at a club. I tried it a couple years ago with Dominion, and everything was pretty reasonable. And then they hiked up their dues twice on us. And I was like, it just didn't make sense.
So it's got to make sense, right? I mean, you have to be able to back up what are you getting, right? Or what are you getting out of it? Are you getting your money's worth to begin with, right?
Right. Yeah. And like San Antonio, and I'll say it, a lot of guys might get pissed and a lot of guys might not. San Antonio is the worst golf market I've ever seen.
You think so?
Absolutely. Hands down, golf course wise.
Yeah. Okay. Because okay. So
not player wise. It is a very big, and I hope nobody takes offense to this. I've got cousins that have been in the military, but military guys are pretty cheap.
No. You're right. You are right.
So, but golf course wise, it's just, we've got a bunch of great golf courses. We just don't keep them in good shape. The public golf courses just, for some reason, they can't, I look at Landa and, like everybody goes, well, why is Landa this? Why is Landa that? And, they go, oh, well, Brody's got, unlimited funds and he's got this. Brody doesn't have unlimited funds. But, whenever they overseed, tees, fairways and greens, Brody keeps everybody off the golf course. It's cart path only for a month. Whenever they go back into transition, cart path only for a month. Deal with it. And the city doesn't, Landa, their staff does a great job, and they're like, hey, you don't have to play here for a month. Okay. We did 52,000 rounds last year. Whatever. People play. And Landa's not a hard walking golf course by any means, but, like some of the city golf courses, I actually play, I think one of the best layouts in the city, honestly, is Mission.
I agree. I agree with you.
And when we played it for Monster Day, I was like, wow, like, all right.
That course has improved, a huge amount.
Yeah, a lot. And it's a great layout. But, I had somebody call me last week about Brack and, how bad it was and this and that. And, I've seen some stuff about Willow, which, I haven't played Willow. I saw a comment the other day. The guy was complaining about the bunkers, and I know that they've posted that the bunkers are out of play on their webpage and all this. Like, so to me, that's just, that's crap. Like, quit bitching about it. But,
I don't mean to cut you off, but yeah. you say that, and I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. Like, we are one of the worst golf markets, and that's why I think for me personally, I love like a personal touch from, and I always say this, and people think, oh, Alsatian must be paying you, and I'm like, no, like I don't think, honestly, like if you've never been there before, like I love walking in there and just being treated like decently, like just being treated like I'm a valued customer. Like I love that.
I've only played there once. And Miss Reed said she's like, hey, you're comped, don't pay anything. Well, and I'm like, no. I mean, our SGA group was going to play out there, and I'd heard really good things about it, so I'm like, I'm going to go play out there, and I paid, and because they got to make money too. I mean, I'm not asking for free rounds, and I'm not asking for stuff to be discounted heavily, but and I mean, I actually played really good that day.
but I'm telling you, I think, and I don't mean to cut you off. I think, like you said, as a golf market, I think every course has to do something a little bit different to keep the customers coming back, right? To keep
the golf course was in good shape. I mean, to me, I've always said, you can play it up in the fairway. You can do all that, but the greens have got to be decent. If the greens aren't decent, then it doesn't matter. And to me, like, there's a lot of people that love the quarry. Like, I think the layouts, it's a unique layout. It's good. My front yard might run faster than the greens. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, that was I played in a scramble like a week before my surgery, and I putted. That's all I did. I couldn't get it to the hole, and that's how it always is out there. And I'm like, just cut them down. Like, it's the winter. You've overseeded. Like, just cut them down. Do something.
Let's do it.
And they don't do it, and I can't figure it out. And but that's, to me, that's my deal. Like, everybody's like, where do you go and practice when you're getting ready for tournaments? I go to Landa Park.
Yeah,
because the greens are 10.
Dude, they're okay. And so Chris Espinosa, right? The young man that works out there at David O's Academy, right?
Yeah.
And I asked him, I said, Chris, I said, why is he's a New Braunfels guy, right? And I said, why is the course always, because all right, plain and simple, Landa is like been the course that has been in the best shape for a continuous amount, like through a drought, through a harsh winter, through up and down. Like it's always it's been in great shape. Like, no one's talked shit about it. No one's had anything negative to say about it. And you know what? Because it's green, right? It's green. There's fairways. It's not just beat the shit. Well, he says there's some sediments in the water that run through the Comal or whatever. And I'm over here like, I don't know if you're full of shit, but you know what? I believe you. I believe you, because freaking land is in better shape than any other course.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, but you look there and it's, $45-$50 to play.
Dude, my boys, Four Bros, this past weekend, $49 rate, shotgun start, 8:30 on a Saturday.
Right.
Get out of here, dude.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Hey, you can go 10 minutes down the road to Bandit and pay over 100.
Oh my God. On a prime, man, dude. On a prime day.
Well, and that's the thing, I know one of your questions is coming up about, the golf industry and what's going on, but, to me, the golf rates are getting out of hand.
They say, what is it? Everything costs more, right? That's what they say. Okay. So here it is right here. So I talk shit about, Golf San Antonio or San Antonio Amateur Golf. I'm not too sure what the exact name is.
I think they got a different name this year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's SAGA. It's SAGA, right? That's what it is.
Yeah.
And I made a comment about it because they're going in June to Golf Club of Texas, and for a 2-round, for I think it's a 2-ball. I'm not too good with all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
2-man thing, a 2-day event. It's $425, like $425 to play there, and for a 2-day event. And I'm like, at that course, I've had issues with the general manager there, and another story I'm going to tell you here about what happened. Long story short is a good majority of my guys used to be members out there. They hiked up the rates they hiked up the membership rates without even telling them. They just said, hey, next thing you know, 1 month it was this rate. The next month it was a lot higher, right? Almost double. Don't quote me on it, but significantly, right?
Right.
And they said, hey, you didn't even give us a warning as to why these rates are are raised up. Oh, we know we're going to lose some members, and we're okay with that. All right.
Okay.
And so I was like, but you know what? I would always do. Luckily enough, a lot of my boys had the membership where they played and got one for free. So hey, if I wasn't the free guy, then I'm not going out there, right? So I said, I'm over here like, man, that sucks to be you. I'm not a member, so I'm not a member, so it doesn't bother me, right?
Right.
And one of my good buddies, and he's on here, Jeremiah Sierra. He's the guy that he's a scheduler for the league that for Four Bros Tour, and he's a damn good scheduler, damn good recruiter, and he's the one that really helps kind of cut the cost for a lot of our members, right? As we go to these courses and arrange the shotgun starts, arrange the deal, arrange what our cost is and things of that nature. Well, he's going back and forth with a general manager over there. His name's Bo LaHue, I think. Yeah, Bo. I mean, Bo. Bo. I don't. Director of golf operations, something like that. They have these different titles. Well, he's a customer. Bo and I are good friends. Well, he tells Jeremiah, "What do you think this is? A used car dealership?" Right. And my buddy Jeremiah, we call him like the Mexican Karen because he's always ready to complain about everything. He's got a email template ready to complain about a restaurant, freaking hotel, a resort, like somewhere, right? And so that set him off. I mean, that set him off. That pissed him off. Well, guys know that. I mean, people in the industry should know that golf groups talk. Like we talk and we know, hey, we got this amount of guys, we get this rate. How come you're charging $60, but we got it for 55, and we got burger and chips, and we got range balls, and you're charging us 60 for like the next weekend? Like, what's the deal? And I came back and I said, hey, dude, we just want the rate that you're giving these other guys. We bring more people, where we bring the same amount. And oh no, who told you that? Who told you that? And I'm like, dude, it's like we're like a little girls network over here. Like everybody gossips. Everybody gossips. And
everybody's in 2 or 3 different leagues.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Not one person just plays one. I play with the Nola Ase guys. I play with the New Braunfels Paga sometimes. Like I play all over. I play the Golf Fellowship. And I'm a bit of a golf whore. I whore myself out just for golf, right?
Right.
And so that's where the issue came. And he came back and. And that's where the issues came, right? And then they got rid of a damn good super who's now at Willow, and he's trying to kind of put the pieces together where Willow can. And I said something in regards to the schedule, right? For the Amateur Golf Association, why are you going to pay that much to go play at Golf Club of Texas? Well, shoot. The next day, I had Kerry Kimball from the First Tee San Antonio. Hey, Andy. What's going on? Why are you talking trash about our schedule? And I said, and I actually tried to call her today to let her know that I was gonna talk about it this evening, just so she wasn't surprised. And dude, she caught me off guard, man. She really did. Like, I'm normally like to be really quick-witted. I'm not a big guy, so like I killed people and I chopped them down with my words, right? Not with my physical stats or physical ability. And dude, she like caught me off guard. I was like, oh shit, like I have nothing to say. And she tells me, hey, I thought you were a partner. I thought you were a partner of mine, and I thought you supported us. Well, when you do things like this and talk about our schedule, you're not supporting us. And I'm like, damn, I said, man, you're right, and you're right. And I felt bad. And I wanted to say, I was calling to her today because she caught me off guard. I had no words to say. Like, I was just stunned. Hey, it was 8:30 in the morning. I was just barely waking up, and I wanted to apologize because my intent wasn't at their schedule. And I know you've played in amateur golf or GSA many events over the years. And the schedule.
No, I haven't.
No. But I'm saying in previous years, right? Like in previous. I don't know. I mean,
yeah. I played in the 4 2 years ago. And then, Terrence and I were actually just getting ready because we were playing a bunch of team stuff. And, we played really, really well. But I honestly haven't, I haven't played in anything. And a lot of it is, honestly, like, with, the deal that Travis runs, whatever, South Texas Golf Fam Tour, whatever it is now, can't even get out of my mouth. But what I like about what he does is he puts it out there and says it's $79 now. This is where everything's going. And with GSA, I wish that they would do that. I mean, they're not. They come out as a nonprofit. Like, just show us where the money's going. Like, I'm fine with that. I had a buddy that won. He won. It's been, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, but and it's not about winning money. And I get it, you're an amateur and all this, but he won the city. He won the city and won the mid-am, and it was all one tournament. And he didn't even win. He barely got back his entry fees. It was like $125 over his entry fees. And I mean, they just had the 4-ball a couple weeks ago, and I know 2 guys that won it, and all they got back was a gift card for their entry fee. And I'm perfectly fine with that, but show me where the other money's going.
Yeah, and that is, I think, ultimately, and I know that's one thing we're really huge on for Four Bros is transparency, and I think everybody just wants transparency, and I think that's kind of hard. And yes, I know they're a nonprofit and they're trying to raise funds, and yes, you're trying to raise funds.
Show me that they're putting $10 or $50, whatever it is, towards the GSA, because I know they got to maintain a range. I know that they do free clinics. I know that they have professionals over there that, I mean, I get it 100%. Just show me that you're doing that.
And I'm in total agreement, because ultimately at the end of the day, if you're going to put your hard-earned money into it and get a win, right, or get a top place and get back very little as, in regards to what your entry fee is, it does raise questions, because as golfers, we're taught that, hey, we put in this money and we win, we should be receiving more than what, right? Honestly, that's a lot of times what we do. And I think, that kind of caught me off guard when she told me that. And I'm not, I'm not trying to betray any trust. She tells me, I thought you were a partner. And I said, I'm trying to help people out. That's all I want to do. I just want to be transparent. And that's what my podcast is just honesty. And I asked her, I said, when I had her on the show, I said, I want to help you out. I said, let me know what I can do to help your group out. And this is what she tells me. Go to our Facebook page and you can share anything you want on there. And I'm like this. I was like, anybody can go onto for the most part, anybody's page that's a public page and share anything. And I said, I'm like, don't call me a partner if you're not going to just let me, because they do some good things. Like, they could do some good things. And I would love for more people to see that. And
no, they do. I mean, it's just, I got, I had some things back in like the early 2000s when I had my first shoulder surgery, to be honest. But I had some things happen back then. And then when the top 1%ers got pissed that they were playing with an 18 handicapper in a qualifier that lied, because, and I'm like, man, I play a lot of customer golf, and I have for a long time. I mean, I've played with my dad and things because a guy canceled or whatever, and you're playing with guys that are horrible. If it bothers you that much, I mean, I've got zero issue. Like, if I see a guy, if I'm in a qualifier and I see a guy struggling, and I've had guys go, man, it's a really dick move, but hey, it is what it is. But I just tell them, I go, hey, Andy, obviously you shouldn't probably be playing in this qualifier, whether it be a U.S. Open qualifier or whatever. I'm not going to look for your ball anymore, and I'm okay with it if you don't look and help me, because I want to concentrate on what I'm doing. I'm not going to go look. I mean, I had one time, the first 3 holes we were playing at Cedar Creek, and I felt like a damn billy goat going up and down hills. And I'm like, I'm not a mountain. I'm not a mountain goat. I told the guy on hole 4, I said, hey, man, you're obviously struggling. This is what's going on. I'm going to quit looking for your ball. Don't look for mine. It's all good. And I just got in my own zone and if it's just off the fairway, it's something, but when they're hitting it, almost to the houses, it's not good. So
no, and that's tough, because you want to keep up with pace of play, and if you're going to suck, hey, suck fast, right? You're going to suck,
right.
right? Suck quick, right?
Yeah.
And I think, just for me, like hearing somebody say that, and this is one thing she told me too, that I was like, man, I need it. I was like, you know what? Casey's been a pro. He's been at a golf course. You know what? He's been at all these big tournaments. I said, man, I need somebody that can give me some honesty. She told me, she goes, what you're doing is not helping golf here in San Antonio. And she said, the golf industry is hurting right now. That's what she told me. She said, golf courses are closing down left and right. And I'm like this. I'm like, the golf industry is hurting. She goes, people are going back to work. COVID's over. I'm not saying like that quote for sure.
Right.
That's not, it's the very taboo, topic there. But hey, people are returning back to work. They can't play golf anymore. The golf industry is going in a downward spiral. And I'm like this. Is it, Casey?
I mean, so I actually had this on my notes tonight because you're asking if the golf industry is hurting. I mean, we've closed Pecan Valley, Republic, Northcliffe, Woodlake, and then they just closed Lock and Terra Palmer course in San Antonio. Golf isn't hurting. The problem is they're pricing everybody the fuck out of it. I'm sorry, when somebody told me that the quarry on the weekends $160. What am I getting for $160? What am I getting to go play Bandit at $100? I mean, when I can go down the street and I'm okay with playing Land Park at $45-50, or going and playing somewhere else that's just as good. I mean, what are you getting for $100? And I just don't understand that. I mean, $50, $60 to me, even maybe 70 on the weekends, but 100? Like, that's why our FGA group doesn't play at Bandit.
That's why I don't play at Bandit. It's a tough. It's expensive on a prime weekend day.
Yeah, and then you're gonna go pay $6 a beer, and then they want to know why people are sneaking beers on. It's like, good God.
Well, and for people that don't know, you used to be a pro out at Northcliffe, and so you've been in there. You've been in the trenches. You've seen that side, and you see this side now.
Right.
You're the customer and consumer now, but you've been on that side of the counter.
Right.
So you've kind of seen, you've seen when Northcliffe was good. You've seen when Northcliffe was bad. You've seen it close down.
Right.
And I think right now, you've also seen why some courses, and especially some of the trail courses, are getting run down because the traffic, the volume, because it is affordable. It is affordable, and it's getting. There's a lot of rounds they're logging. They are.
No, they are, and I mean, hey, they're logging just as much as Landa, but to me, where I think the trail fails itself, not fails the customer, fails itself, is they don't like. Let's just take, Brack, for instance. I honestly don't ever see Brack as a $90 golf course. I won't ever pay over $50 there, to be honest. Like, it's just, to me, it's not, it's iconic, yeah, but it's not a $90 golf course. But, the front nine the front nine, the back nine, like, hey, make it during this time of year, cart path only, or, you're going to lose the fairways, make it cart path only. I can tell you brought up COVID. Fucking the golf courses were packed. Mm-hmm. You had guys that I would have never thought in my life would have walked. And now if you're cart path only, are you afraid? You're saying, oh, well, we're overbooked. We've got too many of this. We got too many of that. Well, make it cart path only. Get rid of some of those guys and have them go other places that may not care as much. And then the fairways are going to be better. The fairways are going to be better in the spring. It's amazing. It really is. It's our golf market. Some of our golfers just don't understand what it takes to run a golf course. And then they want to go and complain because they're doing the same shit that everybody else is. They don't fix divots. I can go through sand bottles in a cart, all day long. I can go get on the greens, and I can guarantee you my back should be going out as many divots as I fix.
And I think you bring up some great points, because I remember being a marshal back out there. You had just recently left Northcliffe, and being there under Jack Mitchell out of Northcliff, right?
Oh yeah.
Good old Jack, right? Uh, and when I was out there as a marshal, he's like, "Hey, hole 7 or hole 8." He goes, "Andy, hole 8 is your hole. So whenever you marshal out here and you find it that the course is a little bit slow, go out there and take the sand and fill in the divots where you can." And
Right.
and I'm like, "Hey, hole 8 was my hole." So you know what? I took a lot of pride in that damn hole, even though I was only a marshal there, working 2 shifts just so I can get free golf, right?
Right.
And you know what? And of course, when no one was on the green's empty. I'm over there. I'm fixing damn divots. And especially now, like, dude, it feels freaking badass when you make a divot. Like, of course you want to fix your divot. I always do the system, the 1+1, right? Hey, like, fix your divot plus somebody else.
Right.
And I think that's one thing I experienced when coming back from San Diego and playing at a course, Goat Hill Park. Like, everybody loved that course, and I kind of see that. I kind of see the love that a lot of people have for it, Atlanta, because it's a small community, a small town, and you know what? People like to take care of their own, right? They like to take care of what is they feel like is theirs, right? Their possession. And so when I'm out there at Goat Hill, man, everybody, like, there was a can of beer. It was, so I saw somebody just drive by, pick it up, put it in the recycle bin. Boom, like just easy, like just little. Like, they're caring for their course, and I think a lot of times, as we have got a lot of these golfers, a lot of people don't like, that little pride just to kind of take care of theirs.
Right. No, and that's what I mean. That's what the complaint is, and I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's guys are going to complain, but I guarantee you the guys like on that San Antonio golfers page, I bet Ruben's wishing that he'd have never put that up. But I bet, the guys on that page probably don't do half the stuff that they should, and they're going to be the ones that bitch when, oh, it's nice outside, but it's cart path only. And they don't understand that it's to make the golf courses better down the road. There's I do hunt during the winter a lot. And I started probably 12 years ago. Jeff, he'd be like, "Hey, let's go play." And I'm like, "Dude, I don't want to go play." Like, it's either wet or it's hard and it's thin. And and none of that is going to be conducive to, good golf. And so I got out of it, and, but I'm okay with, somebody like Brack doing that. I'm okay with them doing it at other golf courses to help the golf course.
Hell yeah.
I know, I know Laura, out at Alsatians, they go cart path only, and, and what I like about her is she explains why they do the things that they do.
See, and don't you love that? Like it and she'll do, "Hey, we're airifying, we're airifying the greens. Here's a $5-10 discount." Yeah. Because, and you know what? And again, I don't know if the management or what. I went to go play Brack one time, and I ended up paying $65. Well, we get out there, and all the greens have been aerated and it's sanded. Yeah. And I'm just like, why couldn't you just say that on the phone? And this is like, man, this is years back, right? Yeah. I'm like, why couldn't you just say that when I'm making the tee time? Like, why can't you just tell me that? If you're not going to give me a discount, give me the option. Because I came in expecting, like, to have, like, at least the greens rolling somewhat. You know what? No, but they were all sanded. Right. And I'm just like, yeah. This is the crap I have to play.
I used to tell everybody when we do ours, and, I used to work at Pizza Hut way back in the day. And, I used to get my butt, I was a manager, and I used to get my butt ripped by our director all the time about our delivery times and carry out times on Friday and Saturday night. Cause I'd always jack them up, but it was the correct time for you to come in and get your order. Instead of you coming in and me going, "Hey, it's 30 minutes. And then you're calling and going, "Where's my order? Where's my order? What's going on?" At least, hey, if I say it's an hour, it's going to be an hour, and I wish golf courses would do that. "Hey, we're cart path only." I know you can't tell them that on the phone if you're making a tee time, but if you are like Landa posts it. They post it on their webpage. They, on their Facebook, they let you know when you call in, "Hey, we're cart path only this month, blah, blah, blah." And let everybody know. And I mean, like I said, I like what Laura does out there. You know, she explains, like, some guys were complaining about a frost delay. Jesus. You know, I know we don't get many of them, but probably the worst thing for grass. And I mean, and I can tell you that 90% of the golf courses probably let you on it too early.
They do. Gosh, they do.
You know, because, you know, I know the shop's got, you know, 70 people in there and they're waiting to tee off, and, you know, but at least she explains why, and, you know, tries to educate the golfer instead of just going, well, it is what it is. Just fucking deal with it. You know, like, here you go. You know, I mean, you know, the interesting topic about, you know, you bringing up the, you know, is the golf business hurting? I think that it might be a little bit, but I don't think it. I think golf is probably in a better state, especially like with the live, you know, kind of going. And I think golf is in a really good state. Like I said, I just think that golf courses are pricing everybody out. You know, and they're not giving like junior rates, like, oh, we don't care. You know, oh, you know, it's this. The one thing I will give Foresight, you know, credit for is if you pay for your full green fee, you know, the junior plays free.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So
that's they give good military and first responder rates as well. They do,
right? So
which I think they're deserved.
Yeah. So it and that's a good thing, but it's just one of those deals. Like, man, I just don't understand $90 for a golf course 2 years ago that I was paying $50 for. Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me. And yeah, prices have gone up, but
is it $40 better in your opinion? $40 better?
No, it's still the same golf course. They haven't done anything to it. I mean,
no, you're right.
It's still the same golf course, but I mean, it's just like, but what they don't understand is the inflation has not only hurt it. Okay, yeah, it's hurt them, but it's hurt. I mean, San Antonio's median, you know, the average income, man, it's not high. And when you start, you know, dishing out $90 rounds, I mean, guys are only going to turn and go, you know, so much. I mean, and that's been a big discussion in like our FGA group. We've got a lot of good guys, and we had 20 to 30 guys at one time, and, you know, rates have gone up. And I mean, hey, it's a Friday, you know, guys don't get off as much. I mean, I try and get out with customers and take them out there as much as I can. But you're you know, with that, and then you drop the $40 for the entry fee, and then you get a 6-pack. Now, I mean, used to be it was like $100, and I'm okay with that. Now it's like 140, you know, 150, and you're like, man, it's
adding up.
No, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So, you know, I think golf courses are just pricing themselves out of what's going on. And, you know, obviously right now they're not going to feel it because, hey, you know, Riverside, you know, Alamo City is closed, you know, almost. You know,
now Riverside.
I heard something's coming next.
Willow. They said Willow, and it's funny because the manager of that course, he was in Ben and Alex's shop today, right?
Okay.
And you know, Ben's over here telling, you know, trying to get me to talk shit about Willow, right? And I'm like, it's not gonna happen. I said, my boy is a super there. I was like, nah, I don't know the manager. I was like, but I'm over here like, nah, I know the super over there, so I know what they're dealing with, right? You know, whatever. And he goes, oh, you want to complain to the manager? There he is, right there. And he was in the shop getting some clubs regripped, and I'm like, man, I'm glad. I was like, you know what? I'm glad I kind of sympathize in what they have to deal with over there. Right. And like a guy like Clint over there at Mission Del Lago, who has to be both the super and the GM, and I just know that, you know, there's a lot of rumblings in regards to Sonterra, you know, and a little birdie just told me today that you know, my buddy's country club, the group that owns it, is about to buy Sonterra, you know.
Yeah, and I know CPIG put it up. So you got that, and Silverhorn.
Yeah, you know, and this is like so what's next, right? You know, and that's what you're curious to see. And man, you make a great point, dude, and you make a great point that a lot of people are getting priced out. And
well, I mean, like you look at, like I was talking to a buddy last night, and you know, he lives over in Houston, and you look at their club rates, their country club rates over there. and the golf courses that they get to play on, like, I mean, I'm not going to say everything in Houston beats what we got over here public wise, but a lot of it does. And obviously they get more rain, and I'm going to get all that, boo boo, whatever. their greens are better. I mean, you can go to Landa here. It's like you go outside of 1604 and all of a sudden, like, everything's better. But
hey, man, those are fighting words there, boy.
I was looking at it, and he's thinking about changing clubs over there. And I go, well, what are you paying a month? And he goes, well, I'm paying $400. And I go, what? He's like, well, yeah, I mean, with card, it's $500 a month. And I'm like, I mean, I know where he plays, and it's not like great, but it's going to beat, Brack and Willow and like all the, courses around here. And I'm like, and I go, well, where are you thinking about going? He goes, oh, Kingwood. And I'm like, oh, okay. That's nice.
Yeah, that's a nice
What's that going to cost you? He goes, $650. I mean, when I started playing at Dominion, I was paying $850. $850. And and that's probably the cheapest in town. I mean, I know
okay.
It's $850.
I don't mean to cut you off. Like, but let me ask you, like, if you're constantly in New Braunfels, why are you going to be a member at Dominion? Like, it's so far away.
So the decision to go out to Dominion was because of their greens. Their greens are always fast. I was playing a lot. I was going to be playing better greens. And from I live in Shirts. So I'm kind of like in between, but I was like 25 minutes to 30 minutes from Dominion with the right traffic. It could be an hour. With the
oh yeah. That's a big thing.
But I mean, the greens, the golf course, the layout, it was good at the time. And I mean, it looks like I actually left in the right spot, but I mean, by the time I was going to leave, like, they were going up on our dues again. I was going to be paying close to $1,000.
Damn.
And I'm just like, and it's for what? Like, I wasn't getting anything for it. And so for me, I can go spend $1,000 somewhere else. And, like, I still played in FGA, so I wasn't playing out Fridays. And, so for me, it was just a decision because I was trying to play on better greens. I didn't want to go and play, the Corey's got good fairways. It's got, but you get on the greens and I can't get it to the hole. I mean, it's ridiculous. So to me, that was a lot of it. I mean, the green complexes or green speeds were that's where I get everything. Cause you can play anything up.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I agree. I agree. But you know what you like, and that's your preference. And so, I'm in agreement there. It's like, what has improved? What has improved for $200 more, right? What has improved? What has made it 1,000? What has it made it that much more better, right?
Right. Yeah. Nothing. I mean, I can take you to a golf course in Sonora. Okay. Like, go track from tee to green. I would be a member there in a heartbeat because the greens roll 10 and they're true as can be. It's a great golf course.
I'm telling you, I played Goat Hill Park I was at Goat Hill Park this past weekend, and 4,200 yards. It was 4,200 yards. Yeah. And you know what? It was beautiful, and it wasn't like it was patchy. It wasn't like flush fairways, but the greens were they were rolling, boy. They were rolling, and you know what? And they held true. They rolled true, and man, you know what? I'm like, I wish they had a course like that here in San Antonio.
Right.
Like, I wish they had it.
We had Jeff and I went on a Mach 3. We were on a Mach 3 deal, and we had a day to play, and we went and played, and we played this golf course. We found it on Golf Now or whatever. Went and played. It's $28. There was nothing. I mean, granted, it's up north. They don't play on them 6 months out of the year and all that, but. We went back and we told the members that we played the next day, and they're like, what'd you play that for? Why would you go play that? And we're like, that's better than anything I got in San Antonio. like, don't come down here. Like, I just look at, it's funny. I just look at
we have a lot of great golf though here, man. We do.
Where? Okay. Take out Landa. I can even throw the Bandit in there. The Bandit gets thin and fast and just, stupid crazy. And whenever it gets that fast, I'm not lying. I'll go out there and play because it's, you better be, if you can't control your golf ball, it makes you look stupid.
No, well, I look stupid with controlling or without controlling. All right, so right here, I got Mike Freeman right here. Take him to par. What is that?
So that's a golf course in Comanche, Texas, it's the golf course is called PAR, PAR. It's called Parks and Recreation. That's who runs it. So they named it PAR.
Oh, it's perfect, man. It's perfect.
But it's the greens there. Actually, they were better this year. But it's the old common Bermuda greens. Just real old school. It's just a little podunk town. But the golf course is probably the funnest golf course I've ever played. And everybody it's a big 3-man. And I actually go up there. A buddy of mine who passed away got run off the road by a drunk driver in 2008. His parents still live up there, and I go up there at least once a year for that golf tournament, if not to go fishing with them and whatnot. But we go up there, and I get to be with them, and but it's the coolest golf course. And everybody I always take, they're like, "Man, can I go back? Can I go back?" Because it's just a fun. You can drive, you can be putting for eagle on 10 holes out of the 18, and there's 5 par 5s or 5 par 3s.
See, we need a place. We need a place like that, and that's where I just came from. And I'm over here telling Alex about my experience there in San Diego, there at Goat Hill, and man, there's so much energy, dude. And it sounds like it's a very similar place where it's just so much energy. It's fun. There at Goat Hill, it was 8 par 3s, and you know what? Dude, had a freaking blast, a blast.
Well, to me, the energy, one golf course that I get excited to go play, and a lot of people hate it. And it's either a love-hate, but Valor Creek.
Oh gosh, I do. I enjoy it. I enjoy the ride out there. It's not bad.
I like the golf course. The staff's nice. It's got a great. Adam's done a great job out there. The atmosphere is awesome. And even through all of this, their rates haven't gone up that much. Dude. And he's like, we're good.
We played. Four Bros had an event there, and Mike Freeman, he got to play that day with us.
Yeah,
it was man. I think we had. I can't tell you how many golfers we had, but it was $55. We got a shotgun start, burger and chips.
Yeah,
range balls, $55.
Right,
$55. And that's Valor Creek is one of the pound for pound courses. It could be top 1, 2, or 3. No,
it is. It's a little out there, drive wise, but it's always in good shape. I'm looking at, I'm wanting to move, and I'm trying to figure out, where do I want to go? What do I want to do? And out there towards Valor Creek would be, I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with moving out there and playing that every day. I
would too. Shit.
But to me, it's just about the golf. I hate, I hate it, that I can be negative. And I know that my name was brought up with some conversations in the GSA, because it got back to me that my name was brought up in these talks, and I've got nothing. I will say that I think what Carrie's doing, she's trying to make it better.
I think so too. I think
it's going in the right direction. I think that, it helps my complaint that, Travis and what they do with all handicap levels, and he helps that side of it. And, so, Carrie could have, majors. But the only thing I'd tell them is, man, just tell us where the money's going, so that you can understand why, Travis's deal. I understand why, it's $79, and for first place, I get 92. I can understand that, because he's at $79. He's probably doing it cheaper than anybody else is, and he's telling you exactly where everything's going, and hey, if you make the match play team, you're getting another $500 in gear, and, you're getting things. on that side of it. I know GSA does it but just show us where it's going. I mean, so that a lot of people, because that's what I mean. And I get tagged a lot, and like the deal with you, and the deal that happened with you last year, and and the Alamo City Golf Trail. That like I called you, and you're like, "Hey, what's going on?" I was actually at par. I was at a tournament. And I get called about it, and they're like, "Man, what do you think of this?" I'm like, "Why are you calling me?" And I called you just to check and see how you were doing. I mean, and it wasn't.
And I appreciate that, and I appreciate the support. I do.
I felt bad about it, but I'm like, but I'm also like on that side. I'm going, well, it's very. It was a deal that again, I don't think it should have ever gotten to the level that it got to, but I get brought into stuff and like, what do you think about this? Or hey, did you hear about this? And I'm like, because people know that I'm going to try and find out, and that's just my personality, and I'm going to try and why did this happen? What's going on? But I've been in that, like you said, I've been on both sides of it, and I understand it, and so people ask me a lot about that kind of stuff, and it's just weird.
And you're right. No, it's not weird, because and that's why I value your opinion, and that's why I asked you to be on the show, because I'm over here thinking, I said, who can just be non-biased and just be real, like not shit talk, and that's not what it's about. It can just be like just opinions. And again, we don't have to agree with each other's opinions. We do not. But you're somebody that, like I said, has been on both sides. You've been in almost every, for the most part, every part of what is like a golf industry. You've seen how the sausage is made, right? You've seen how a steak gets cut. You've seen how the grass gets cut. You've seen, what it is to pick up the range balls, to put out a quality product, to not put out a quality product. Right?
I've done it all. I mean, when I was at Woodlake, I was on a tractor. I was cutting greens, cutting fairways, rough, everything.
And I know that, Casey, and that's why I value your opinion, and I'm sure that's why a lot of people value your opinion, especially in this game. Right here, John White. Casey is a straight shooter.
Oh yeah.
He's like this. I am. Hey, damn straight, damn straight. And that's why I do respect you, and I was trying to figure out somebody that can come on here and just really like be real, like just be real and not have one favoritism towards one side. And because everybody, yeah, they say the golf game, hey, we're in it together, guys. We're in it together. We are in it together. And I'm like, you know what? I value the people that can just be straight. And if a course is fucked up, say it's fucked up. But tell me why. How did it get there? Do you have a back handshake agreement? Is your buddy the super? Is your buddy the one that has no fucking business running the course?
Right.
It is like say that. Why can't you say that? Why can't just full transparency?
Well, and that's the thing. Like I honestly don't mind. Like I don't mind guys asking, hey, what kind of shape's this golf course in? What because they might be having people from out of town come in, and they want to treat them to something like nice, and then you get out there and it's crap.
Or it's been aerated and it's just like the next day or something.
Let them, let somebody know what's going on. And I know, I wish that, Alamo City would, hey, just remind people, whether it's every other day that, hey, we aerified this course this day. I know that they post it now, but
and it's great.
Remind everybody because they do separate it so much. And if a golf course isn't in good shape, don't go. And I appreciate some of the stuff. Some of it's just, I hit it in the bunker and I didn't know that they were, this and that. Well, okay, that's your deal, or, like a guy posted a couple weeks ago, I can't remember where he played. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at, I'm trying to figure out, it was at Willow, and I'm trying to figure out what hole he's on and to figure out why he's that far back. And there's and he's bitching about the course conditions, and there's grass like 4 feet in front of him, and he just so happened to hit it in the dirt spot, but he's got 190 yards into a par 4, and I'm going, well, what fucking hole is this guy playing? Where are we at? So I that kind of stuff just wears it wears me down. And then I've been really reserved in the last year because I was vocal about a lot of things. I've been really reserved on when I post stuff and how I post it, and and what goes on with that, because I do know a lot of people, and I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm not trying to, tell everybody, hey, don't play GSA, because I don't. That's not it. It's just, I want to know kind of where everything's going to make sense. I want to know, with TGA, we know where everything's going. Everything's good. It's, so, with Travis, I know where with the Four Bros, I know that they print out a sheet.
Yeah, man. And we take no money right now. You know what? I don't know if it's going to be like that for a long time. I mean, we take no money and it all goes out. And you know what? There's always that one person, and we talk about this. They're like, hey, does it add up? Does it add up? Because there's always going to be somebody that checks. You know what? Hey, man, hey, there's $25 unaccounted for. And you know what? But again, we want to make sure that it's always for the members. It's always for the members. And you know what? It's always about just being transparent. And I think some people get transparency and honesty confused with like hurt feeling. Like there's hurt feelings because of that. And I'm like, and that's what I was trying to say too, is that, Carrie's telling me this stuff. And again, she caught me off guard. And I was like, man, I want to redo that conversation over. I was like, let me wake up, because you know what? I am apologetic about it, because I know she's trying to do better. I know she's trying to build it better. I know that, and I am sorry. And it wasn't my intention to attack her. And I said, I only saw it as attacking or being against a person that runs a course and that has in the past had trouble, being honest and being transparent. Right. And I know that. And it had nothing to do with that. But I do look back and see that, okay, I can see this and see that. And you have to be man enough to admit, when you are wrong, and that I can see that it wasn't my intention to knock what they're trying to do. It's not, because I know she's trying to put out a product. I know she's in a tough position. It's in a hard job, because you know what? Everybody, when I was going to have her on the show, Casey, so many people were texting me, and they just want me to go at her. Like they want me to, hey, tell her about this. Hey, tell her about that. And I'm like, no, I want people to be safe on the show. Come on. And to be like, this is a safe place, and
hey, it was one of your shorter podcasts.
I know. Well, because you know what? I kind of felt, I felt that I felt the heat, I felt the heat that so many people were do this. And you know what? I'm like, no. And maybe,
no, because she runs Golf San Antonio. And it's the first tee, and
you understand what I'm saying, though, right?
They do a lot of great things. It's just the tournament part. Like I said, it's just like,
and you see that more than I do, and you because you've been on that side, you really have, and
I grew up with the city being 500-600 people, and we played all the city courses, and it was all handicapped, and you grew up with Mary running it, you did. Yeah. And then whenever I started coming back, I actually ran into Mary when, she was still there, and Ben's shop was, over there, and she asked me why I wasn't playing. And I told her, I said, I'm not playing because, you're catering towards the 1%. And then, and I'm looking at the city, and it's 30 guys, and they're having these qualifiers so that you don't let these other guys in. And it's like, who cares? Like, and I've talked to some buddies that were in that I know that were part of that 1% that went to GSA and bitched and complained about it. And I'm like, man, you just got a really fragile personality if you can't play with the guy that shoots 100. Like, I'm sorry. I've shot 66 with good players, and I've shot 66 with guys that can't find their what. So, I get it, but they're doing. I think that I think she's trying to do better, and I know she had a couple like player meetings with some guys, and they're at least they're trying.
It is funny though, right? Because talking off air before, about a gentleman that we both know, and I'm gonna keep his name out because he's really good to me. And he's kind of made me privileged on some of those meetings, and there's they have some confusion, and they not everybody sees eye to eye. And again, you don't have to see eye to eye, but I think, and like I'm gonna value your opinion because of the the resume you have. I just am. It maybe somebody might not because he's never made it to the big time. And I'm like, no, like, you've put in your work in this game. You've been at every level. You've put your work. You've done your time, and you're still relevant in this game as a player, as an instructor for Mach 3, and as somebody that is willing to help the next guy.
Trainer. Don't use the word instructor.
Oh, there you go. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And so I just think that she's being pulled in different ways, and I think she's trying to find her voice. And I'm sorry if I told her I wanted to apologize to her in person before I did it tonight, because I wasn't trying to take a shot at her schedule. Honestly, I was taking a shot at Golf Club of Texas. I really was, I was like, I really was.
I played out there, man. I played out there a couple months ago, and the whole actually got told I could never play with that group again.
Okay, okay, go, keep talking. I'm sorry, keep talking.
So I got told I could never play with that group again, and and it was a Facebook deal. Like, a guy asked if somebody could play, and
there you go. This is it. Who is it? Paul Elizondo, or who played with, or was it Paul Ledesma?
Ledesma, yeah.
There you go.
And
yeah.
So and we're sitting there and we're playing, and my handicap, I was a plus 2.5, and then another guy was a plus 2.5, but they were letting him play, and he goes, "Well, I know how he plays," and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, and then we won, and I tell you what. We won, and Andy, made putts. Tony Vaught was on our team.
Yeah, Tony's a solid guy.
Yeah,
solid
he made like 3 40-footers.
I hate Tony. Tony. He's a good old man. I hate Tony.
So I'm sitting there and I'm like, so we get kicked out, but we played Golf Club of Texas, and I go up to pay, and the guy goes $75, and I go, for this? I was like, I almost turned around. I was like, well, fuck, I'm out. But I was like, I committed to play. It's, again, I knew Tony Vaught, but I didn't know the other guys in the group. And we get out there and we had a great time.
Paul Ledesma, a good buddy of mine. Good people.
Him and his brother, Mark, and man, had really an awesome time. End up winning, and guys were complaining and this and that, and I'm like, they're like, oh, y'all's handicaps, and I'm like, and I went up to one of them that I know, I've played with him in FGA, and I'm like, what the fuck are you bitching about? Like, why are you complaining about me going in, and the handicap's supposed to be this, our handicap matches, and he's like, well, you're just better.
What's something you always say? You don't like it? Play better. Play better, right? That's something that C2 always said. Play better.
Yeah. On my email, my personal email, it says go low or go home.
Hey, and that's why I go home a lot.
Yeah. Every shot matters. But yeah, that was just a fun, like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't even know who these guys are, and I'm getting kicked out. Like, and everybody knew who I was before I got there, apparently.
Hey. So, there you go. You were Mexican for a day.
I was.
But I remember that came up, and I was like, well, who gives a shit what your handicap is in for a scramble? Like who? What does that matter? Like, I'm over here. Like, I remember reading that, and Paul Ledesma, I had the privilege of playing with him several times. Good guy, and I'm like, and then Tony, I know Tony from the Golf Fellowship. Again, a good dude. I'm like, I look at him and I'm like, man, I should be beating you, and this guy's freaking whooping my ass, but good guy, and so I know the exact guys you're talking about, and I'm like, who gives a shit what your handicap is?
Dude, and I think we won like $150. Like, I'm like, after my beer tab, I didn't break even, and we're complaining, like, and we bought a round, like, did everything that we,
That's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and it was comical. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't, I mean, $75 for that. I mean, I had somebody going, a buddy of mine, he's a member, and his pro called over, and they had 4 guys go over there. $275 to play Briggs. I'm like, wow, Briggs is happy about themselves too. Like, okay. But, that's just what, again, that's San Antonio golf. Like why, how come Houston is way cheaper for better? And, we come over here and we're putting on shit that's running 8, maybe sometimes, and doing, or bumpy as shit. And, I'm not saying like Landa's perfect all the time, or, I mean, Bandit's usually really good.
No, you're definitely a Landa lover. I mean, you definitely are. But you're,
I've shot 259s out there. Okay. I gotta
but to your defense, again, through all these course conditions, that place has looked virtually the same. Like through everything that everybody else is dealing with, that place looks the same.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. They went through the drought. They went through everything. Brody's on a budget just like every other golf course. I mean, again, it's just, I mean, and Brody's a hell of a superintendent. His brother's a really good superintendent too. He's actually out at Lake Cliff where a buddy of mine is. And I think, but Brody's always out there. I mean, that's the one thing that I notice all the time. Superintendents are out there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying all day, but they're out there the majority of the day, or,
the members, the players see them, right? And they know, like I think if you're a member at a course and you know who the super is, or you're a regular at a course and you know who the super is, you know what that means? The super's out there. The super's out there working, right?
And I tell you what, Brody can play too. And I think that has a big, a big influence when a guy can play, and then he goes out and teaches his guys what golfers are actually looking for and why. And, I still sometimes I get into my PGA, mode where, I go around and sprinkler heads aren't, cut, like around the tees, like somebody just can't stick a edger in there and get it all out. And
are you out there with the red spray paint, the spray paint, and you're out there?
I'm picking weeds, man. Like I pass my time and I'm picking out the crabgrass and just doing. I mean, even on the greens, like I get into my mode sometimes where I start counting like how many. Oh man, this is gonna be one of those days, and I just start counting.
Right here, John White has a good comment. Why can't the city courses have warm up hitting nets like Landa? Well, Brack does. And I like that.
That's a good question. I mean, the funny thing is I actually thought that every golf course had a range. To be honest, Landa obviously doesn't, but I mean, where I grew up, like every golf course had a range. And then as I've traveled around to, as I've gotten older, I mean, ranges aren't at every golf course.
That land's valuable. That land's valuable. Some places.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, you make money on a range.
Do you really? I mean, you know that side.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted, like, they had Sundance here in New Braunfels whenever, and I bid on it, and all I wanted was the range, and I was going to sell out the golf course part. Even though the golf course part was awesome, I couldn't afford everything. But I think Red McCombs came in and gave him like $10 million or something stupid, and obviously I wasn't. I mean, I was looking at like 1.9. But
what did David O's Academy used to be before it was his?
Well, it was actually a range back in the day, and then the old owners. I know the guy, but they did like a sand volleyball deal, and it basically just became a drunk fest where people were playing sand volleyball, and then they try and go out and hit balls, and golfers didn't like it. And Ogren talked to me about it, and when he was looking, and I told him, I said, man, if you can get access to it, I mean, that place is like, if you've never been out there, it's hard to find. I mean, but, and it's not, I mean, hey, it's not the greatest range, but I tell you what, he's got good range balls. He changes range balls out 3 to 4 times a year. So you're never hitting shit that, goes out and looks like a wounded bird falling out of the sky. So, I give him credit for that. And his mats are really good. I get a lot of people picking on me because I hit off of mats all the time when I'm over there. And, when I'm over there, I'm hitting, I get a medium bucket, but I probably only hit half a medium bucket. And I'm there for 20 or 30 minutes working on whatever I want to work on the day. And then I leave. And it's just, for me, it's about 10 to 15 minutes from the house. It's real easy to hop over there. If I'm coming back from work from Austin, my clubs are always with me. So I'll go and hit some balls, work on stuff and then go. But I can't remember really what he said his break even was, but I know him and Terrence and I went and played after his first year open. And he's like, I blew my break even out of the water and I never thought it was going to be this good.
And that's great to hear, because also it's a service that you provide for the city. It is, because I'm just telling you, man, like I love being out there in the range. I'm one of these range junkies, I just love to be out there. I just love to sit out there, and I love it when the place is dog friendly. Like, I love to go. I live right down the street from the old Alamo Golf Club. Mac Wiley has that place, and I love it. I love to take my dog out there, and he just sits down and chills and watches me shank balls left and right, and he's good. And it's a very laid back atmosphere, and I like. And you know what? You have quality people running these facilities.
Right. Yeah, and like he does, any tournament that Landa has, like they tell him, like for the juniors especially, and Landa's really good about that, getting the STPGA Prestige, Texas Junior Golf Tour. But Landa basically tells them, hey, Ogren's Range right down the street, 5 minutes from the golf course. It'll be open. That's the range closest to us. He'll make, and David makes sure, and he opens up, and I think it's like $5 for a small bucket or whatever. He's not charging rack rate, but he likes that. He's real big into the youth, and which is really cool about him. And he's got a lot of like little crazy nuggets that he always, he'll say something, and he might take you a day or two to figure out what he said and what it was, but it's really good. He's on tour for 18 years, and you're not on tour for 18 years with one win and not know how to get it in the hole.
I saw his championship rock out there at La Cantera today. So you know what? So I had him on the show, and he's a good guy, good person in the game. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Casey, for being on and for being sharing your honesty and your takes and your unpopular takes. But I love them. I don't agree with them all, but I love them. And I love your honesty, and I thank you for your friendship, and I thank you for for always being a straight shooter, man, and always putting it out there, man.
Yeah, no, man, I appreciate it, and anytime, just let me know.
All right, you heard that. All right, just want to make sure. I'm going to record that clip just right there. Hey, man, make sure right here, John White. And again, I was going to say, John White stole my thunder right there. Get well soon, brother. Hope to see you back out there on the course, kicking ass, pissing people off on Facebook. Keep doing it, man.
I'm hoping by May. I need to get a lot of these clips in here, so when I start playing, I got I can get some strokes then.
Well, somebody messaged me privately, said, "Is he wearing a golf bag?" And I'm like, "No, he's not wearing a golf bag."
I got a sling. I got my arm wrapped. So,
well, thanks, Casey. You have a good night, brother.
All right, you too, buddy.
Oh, my man, Casey Carnes. Always his honesty, his love for golf. And, man, he made some good points out there today. And thanks so much for tuning in. Long show, but I thought a good show. A lot of content, maybe not some popular takes, but make sure continue to support the podcast. Please check out www.NothingisOB.com. Please continue to support and check out my brothers out at Four Bros Golf Tour. All right, guys, make sure you check us out here. Got some great courses on the schedule right here. We have Fort Sam coming up, St. Patty's Day Open. We have The Hyatt out there right now at the moment, that is capped off because there are 80 players going out to play the beautiful Hyatt resort course. Kudos to my man A-Rod for always rocking it out there and having that course in great shape. And wanted to tell you, I'm proud of my boy Brandon Ellis, the new GM out there at Fort Sam. He's slowly but surely whipping that course up into shape, giving us a great price for our Four Bros Tour out at the St. Patty's Day Open out at March 11th. All right. Also, my good buddy Jeremiah Sierra, he's got something in the works for the big top dollars, Top Gun golfers here in San Antonio. More info will come out on that. A big tournament, $100 buy-in, best player out there. Hey, put your money where your mouth is. Put your game where your money is. He's putting something out there together. One of the best recruiters, best marketers. One of my best brothers in the game. Thank you so much to Mrs. Reed for always supporting junior golf, always giving back to any charities, hosting great tournaments, having great customer service. Thank you to Miss Carrie. Thank you to Carrie Kimball for taking that job, trying her best, putting out good stuff for our youth, giving back to the Uvalde community out there when times were tough. She had her instructors, amongst others, go out there and put on some great clinics. And I did. And I said in the show, and I wanted to apologize for taking a shot at her and her schedule, which is not my intention. And I wish her nothing but the best and getting GSA or San Antonio Amateur Golf Association back to where it needs to be. And thanks so much, guys, for supporting the show. OB out.